Tell me when you're ready and I'll get started.
I'm gonna have to call your names. I need 1 second.
Okay.
Barney Rock is in the house tonight.
They're in a very good mood today, so.
People eat for dinner.
Oh, no, like I just finished
Oh,
with my
ingest. What did you people ingest for dinner?
I just finished my Hellmonth. Today is like the last day of it, so I'm happy about that. Now I can actually get this thing called sleep.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so let's call the regular meeting of the Historical Commission to order. If we can get a roll call attendance, please.
Commissioner Collin,
Here?
Commissioner Comiato, Commissioner Fernandez, Commissioner Klinger,
Here.
Chairperson Morocco,
Here.
Commissioner Warstadt,
Here.
Commissioner Zaremski.
Here.
Okay, so that takes care. We have a quorum. Let's go to the next item, which is a salute to the flag. And if you can please stand, Commissioner Cullen, if you can please lead us in the pledge.
Begin with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. You can be seated. Do we have a history maker today?
No,
Okay.
I didn't hear back from Jen.
Okay, so as we start off each of our meetings, I do read the purpose of the commission so that the parties can, everybody can understand what our purpose is. And I think nope. We've just got a report that we're not getting any sound. So I'm just double checking, but we'll continue on. So the purpose of this commission is to investigate, maintain, and catalog all historical information, documents, records, and pictures that would be of general interest to the city and its citizens, to compile records and recordings to promote the keeping of a written historical record of the city in a narrative form, to be an advisory body, and to perform volunteer services at the Redondo Beach Historical Museum. Okay, so let's now go on to approving the order of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve that order?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, so we approve the order. Moving on to item E, blue folder items. Do we have any blue folder items? No? Okay, so no blue folder items. So then we're moving on to item F, which is the consent calendar. And there are 4 items on the consent calendar: is an affidavit for posting, approval of minutes from October 26, 2022, the Redondo Beach moment, the moment in Redondo Beach history, and the museum donation fund and facility report. Does any of the commissioners wish to pull any of the items?
Item F3, please.
Okay, Commissioner Klinger wishes to pull F3. Anybody else want to pull an item?
I'm going to abstain on F2 because I was not here for that meeting.
Okay, so do you want to pull? Do you just want to?
No,
You're going to.
I'm just going to abstain on that.
Okay. And is there any public comment on a consent calendar item? Okay, not seeing any. So,
A motion to approve F1 and F4, and then I'll have a follow-up motion to approve F2 so we can record the abstention, and then we'll go to F3.
okay, that's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cullen, second. So we're going to first take a vote on F1 and F4. All those, any discussion? I guess we don't need, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so F1 and F4 are approved. Now F2, I guess your motion still applies to that. So Is there any discussion about the approval of minutes? Okay, hearing none, then all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Is there an abstention?
Yes, Commissioner Colon.
Okay, and.
I was not here for
protocol
that meeting.
requires us to state a reason for the abstention.
Oh, I was not here for that meeting. I'm so sick.
Okay. Thank you.
Ready?
So now we get to the excluded consent calendar items, which is item G, F3, which is the moment in history. Commissioner Klinger, you wanted it pulled?
Yes, as the chair of vice, I noticed that Commissioner Worstead worked quite a bit on this item, and I want her to read it because I think it's a very important moment in history, and I like the initiative that she took. So it's yours, Commissioner Worstead.
Memories of Perry Park dances. The year was 1981. I was in the 7th grade attending Lincoln Elementary, located in North Redondo Beach. At that time, the school went all the way up to the 8th grade. In addition to our regular school dances, many of us would attend the dances at Perry Park, also located in Redondo Beach. We would wait in a long line before doors were open. This was the time for us girls to reapply our lip gloss, close those clutch purses, and smile at the boys in line. There was chatter about how much fun we were going to have. Once those doors open, we'd stay close to the stage in anticipation to watch the musicians walk out and own that stage. Jinx was the name of the band. They played at various school dances, including Redondo Union High School, Adams Middle School, and others throughout the South Bay. It was always a treat when we would hear that Jinx was going to play at Perry Park. They played both cover tunes as well as original songs they wrote and recorded. I've recently got in touch with some of their fans who also attended the dances. One even had the privilege of sitting in on band practice. This was kind of a big deal to a young teen. Cheryl, Charlene, and Bruce share their memories with me. Quoted by Cheryl Kuntz, Jinx had so much energy and geared the music to our age group and style, popular in those times, 1978. I still have the 45 record of the 2 original songs of theirs, Rock and Roll Circus and Our Ship. Charlene Rudolph says, dances at Perry Park with Jinx Band were such a wonderful time in our childhood. Kelly Hansen was lead singer in the band. He was kind and caring. I asked him to come to my birthday party. I was turning 13. He said yes. He attended and he even brought a stack of those 45 records for all of us, including a single that they had just recorded. He stayed for around a half an hour. Having Kelly Hansen there was a highlight of turning 13. It gets even better. I got invited to attend the band practice, which was truly amazing. We also had dance contests at Perry Park. I remember winning one of them, said Charlene. I got to pick my choice of a Jinx album. Good times, great memories. Bruce Boone, whom I attended Lincoln School with, quotes, Jinx, the garage band, used to practice 5 houses away from where I lived. I used to always ride my bike while doing the paper route, and I would stop by and just sit outside the garage and listen to them play. One day they caught me outside and they said, what are you doing? I said, I was listening to you guys play your music. I believe it was Paul Stearley who asked if I wanted to come in and watch them jam. I said, yes. From that day on, I got to know Paul, Kelly Hansen, and the band. I began helping them stencil promotional t-shirts, headbands, wristbands with the Jinx logo on them. I passed out promotional flyers for their concerts and the dances at Perry Park. I even helped them set up their equipment at Perry Park a few times. Heck, I was a 10-year-old roadie. Parental permission was asked and granted to minors attending practice, helping with promo logos and setup of equipment. Jinx was established in the year 1978 and disbanded around 1982. So how did the band get their name? Rhythm guitarist and founding member Paul Stearley tells me, with so many turnovers of band members, it was said that Paul was jinxed. Kelly Hansen's dad, Randy Hansen, was the band's manager. Kelly joined Jinx around the year 1979 as a background singer. He had to work his way up to lead vocalist. Now, let's fast forward through the years. Some years after playing with Jinx, Kelly moved on to play in a band called Hurricane. This was a successful experience in getting his music style out there and keeping his career thriving. In 2007, Kelly Hansen signs on with a very big name in the music industry. He was now signed on with a major rock group as lead singer for Foreigner. This is great news. From those unforgettable performances at Redondo's own Perry Park to this accomplishment had local fans talking and reminiscing. Paul Sturley attended a Foreigner concert and watched his former bandmate perform. Paul speaks with sincerity and fondly shares his great memories and highlights of his long music career, which today is country music. Present-day Kelly is still with the group Foreigner, and we are so happy for his continued success.
Thank you, Commissioner Worstead.
Any other comments on the moment of history? Okay, can I get a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, Commissioner Klinger move, Commissioner Cullen second. Is there any public comment or discussion?
I just want to,
Negative, there is no public comments.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to receive and file the moment of history. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. So moving on to the public participation on non-agenda item. This section is intended to provide members of the public with an opportunity to comment on any subject that does not appear on the agenda for action. This section is limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will be afforded 3 minutes to address the commission. Each speaker will be permitted to speak once. Written requests, if any, will be considered first under this section. Is there any member of the public who wishes to speak to us today? Okay, anybody online?
No, we have no one on Zoom or any comments at this time.
Okay, so since there's nobody here to speak on it, I will close that section and move on to item I. Items continued from previous agendas. We do not have anything. So then we're going to move on to item J, items discussion prior to action. And so we have, what was last month, we actually were presented with a new set of committees and subcommittees. What you see in front of you today is a restructuring to make it easier for the staff to follow, as well as for us to continue on with it. I do think that there is a typo in section 3G. I think oral histories was its own little subcommittee, and youth and schools program is its own subcommittee. But I do note that you do have oral histories in 2E5. So I think what it needs to be is just to break out the oral histories and youth and school programming committee. So let me go through some of these items, and what we're going to try to do to expedite as well as to make it easier for staff to follow along is we're going to only go to committees that actually have reports to give. So if you do have a report and I skip over you, please tell me before we move out of the committee stuff. On the museum committee volunteers, I'm again putting a plea out to all of you to see if one of you wants to be the volunteer coordinator for the museum committee. We'd still love to have more volunteers. On the outreach committee, I'm going to go through again and ask people if they want to serve on a committee, but on the outreach committee, I think 3B, Commissioner Zaremski might be one that you may find an interest in, which is leading field trips and walking tours around the city for historical stuff. so keep that in mind. On the Albert Pierre's Mendez Moment in History, I was in a collaboration with Commissioner Fernandez. I know, Commissioner Warstadt, you mentioned that you were doing this one. I didn't know if you wanted to go on a full rotation for that or not, but that opportunity is there. Under 3F, presentation to leaders, we did a presentation to Leadership Redondo. I didn't think I could speak an hour about Redondo history, but ended up doing it. It was well received. They were at the museum. The Morale House was also open, so they got a nice taste of the local history. Events, speakers, and special exhibits. So our architecture exhibit is not going forward, but we do have the Charter Day, the Redondo Beach History Day, the Redondo Beach 131st birthday. There's a typo there. It should say 2023 on it. And the artist Cesar Hernandez. You weren't here last week, Commissioner Cullen, but I think you had an interest in doing the art of Cesar Hernandez again.
Yes.
And so I'm going to put you down as the leader for that. Charter Day, just so you know, I'm working on that and making presentations, and I'll be putting it together. So I'm open to anybody helping me on that one. Then on the Path of History, our polls are here. We are thinking about having a dedication in December sometime. I think we'll know probably by the end of the month when the poles are ready to be installed. And so when we do have a dedication, if you all have any thoughts about what days you would like to have the dedication on, if there's any day of the week that works better for you, we can work that in. So there'll be at least 2 or 3 of us at any of the dedications. We do need more donors for signs, and just a reminder, donations are tax deductible for this gift, so they will give a little tax deduction letter. So if you know anybody who's interested in making a donation to get their name on us as a sponsor and a marker, please tell us. There's another typo in 4D. It should be the Ito Family Dedication Subcommittee as opposed to the Ito Family Subcommittee, Park Subcommittee. It should be Park Dedication. And anyway, so what I'd like to do is go down the line. I mean, I'm going to get to you, Commissioner Klinger, because I think you have a part on this one as well. Go down the line and see if anybody wants to volunteer to actually serve on any of these committees. And I'll start again with you, Commissioner Zaremski. Is there anything that appeals to you?
Not at this time.
Okay. Commissioner Warstadt?
Nothing in addition to the last commitment of last meeting.
Okay. Commissioner Klinger?
Nope.
Okay, I assume you still want to do the Wilderness Park State Landmark?
Yes, of course.
Okay, just making sure. And I believe Commissioner Warstadt's on that committee with you.
I thought you were asking for new committees.
I'm asking if you would volunteer for more committees, but I'm just following through because we're going to receive and file this and adopt what we have. Commissioner Cullen?
I think I'm going to still be doing the Redondo Beach History Maker
Okay.
with the Commissioner Wardstadt.
And you're still on that one as well?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, anything else? Okay, so I would, if anybody would like to help me with the Charter Day, I would appreciate, I'm going to do most of the work on it, but if you want to have some input on it, that would be great. The 131st birthday, the city's expressed an interest, so obviously we'll need some people to help with that. And I think that's it. Oh, and Commissioner Cullen, you were at some point going to look at the red cars, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so Commissioner Klinger, I had somewhere in my notes that you were going to do some sort of report today. Are you still on track to do that?
No, I apologize. It's kind of been a very busy month for me, and the meeting snuck up on me, so I'm moving that one to our meeting on the 21st. Once again, I'm sorry, just like been really insane time period with me having 5 different projects to work on. So now that is down to about 2, it's more manageable, and I'll have that by our meeting on the 21st.
Okay, we're going to be discussing the meeting on the 21st, just because it's right around Christmas. We'll talk about that during member referrals, and we'll see what's going to happen. If we are meeting on the 21st, what day would you want that presentation to you? A week before?
Yes.
Okay. Is that doable?
Yeah.
14th? Okay. And if we don't meet in December, it'll be week before the January one. Okay, great. Okay, can I entertain a motion to receive and file these committee reports on the structure as presented in this agenda packet?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Zaremski, second. Is there any public comment on this?
We have nothing on comments or anyone on Zoom.
Okay, do we have anybody watching on Zoom?
I don't have any attendees.
Okay. And anybody in the public want to say anything on this item? Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to receive and file these committee reports and the committee structure as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, it's been approved unanimously. So now we move on to J2, which is the director's report.
I don't have anything to report, Chairperson
Okay.
Morocco.
Okay, and I assume that we don't have any applicants yet for the museum part-time person.
No.
Okay, great. Any questions for the director? Any public comment with questions for the director?
We have no public comments.
Okay, so then we move on to the last item on the agenda, which is member items and referrals to staff. Why don't we start with you, Commissioner Zaremski? Any member item or referral?
No.
Commissioner Warstadt?
Not at this time.
Commissioner Klinger?
Not at this time.
Commissioner Cullen?
Are we going to discuss the December meeting now or later?
It's on my list to discuss. We can discuss it now if you want to discuss it, or you can wait till I bring it up.
So I will be out of town December the 6th through the 8th because I have oral argument in the Supreme Court on the Bill Brand case, so I will be up in San Francisco for that. And then I actually start trial in the Superior Court down here in LA on the 20th of December. So
Okay,
that's a week trial there that I'll probably not be available during that week.
okay. Anything else you want to?
No, that was it.
Okay, so let me do the 5 items I have down. So obviously our next meeting is set for December 21st, which is Christmas week, essentially Wednesday before Christmas. I don't know if we have the authority as a commission to actually cancel our meeting unilaterally. We do? Okay, so you're given, what I was going to suggest is if you can't make the meetings as Commissioner Cullen indicated, if we don't get a quorum, we don't have a meeting either. So,
We can actually adjourn this meeting to January.
okay. Do you know the date for the January date? Okay. So I think at this point, we're given an option of whether we want to keep the December date or adjourn to to have the next meeting in January, January 18th. Is there any discussion?
I mean, I would be open to meeting in December because we'd have updates and it would probably be a fairly interesting meeting. And it's Wednesday the 21st, people are still working. Like most people don't get off work until like the half day on the 23rd. So I'd be open to meeting on the 21st.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
I'm available.
Okay. Commissioner Worcester?
I'm tentatively available. I know that might not help you, but
No, I'm fine with it, but it sounds like the consensus is that we want to meet on the 21st.
Yes.
But if you are not going to be able to attend the next meeting, please notify staff at least a week in advance. They spend a lot of time preparing for this meeting. I know that you're not going to be here, and I'll reach out to Commissioner Comiato and Fernandez to find out, but reach out to staff so they don't spend time preparing for the meeting only to find that we don't get a quorum. Okay, is that fair?
And a question about that, would we be able to like, in case Commissioner Collin can make it via perhaps online attendance, would we be able to do something like that or no?
I don't think that's in our protocols. I know that it's in the council's protocol, but I don't think it's in ours. And I'm seeing in our liaison shaking his head no.
There's the answer.
So I will reach out to Commissioners Comiato and Fernandez and find out what their intentions are. And you've already expressed that you're not going to be here, so it's basically this side of the room. So, but again, and actually, if you can do it 8 days before, because Commissioner Klinger's got to turn in his paperwork a week before. So again, if he doesn't need to spend the extra effort on it, then we should, at least as a courtesy, just notify staff.
Well, I mean, I don't mind, and I'm gonna have to do it anyway if
Okay.
it's not there for, plus, it's not like I'm gonna one night it. I'm not that bad.
Okay. So anyway, so that resolves one of the issues. I'm looking for anybody who has ideas about some events. This is, we have a Christmas event. I'm hoping that one of you will step up and actually make some suggestions for our Christmas open house. If you have any suggestions, we've slated it for December 17th from 11 to 3:30. I believe the Morale House will be open that day as well. So do you have any thoughts about doing a Christmas event over at the Historic Museum? Anybody? Do you want us to have a Christmas open house? Okay.
I mean, I can, if like everything is a go and you just need one more person, I can make it during that time.
Now, I just need people to step up and actually say that we want an open house on for Christmas, or we don't want it. We can still have the museum open, but if we want a Christmas theme, or somebody wants to come in as, Santa Claus or something like that, with the beard and everything. We can see if we can find a costume. Is there, so I'm not hearing any,
We have a volunteer for Santa.
well, you're welcome. So I guess I'm still looking for whether we want to actually have it as a Christmas themed open house or just have it as an open house.
I would like to have it as a Christmas theme, but like I said, I start trial on the 20th, but if the case gets resolved, then it opens up that weekend for me.
Okay.
And I can probably find a Santa Claus pretty quickly.
Okay. Okay, so we'll still call it a Christmas theme open house. And if you noticed in the reports, there are some dates that are fixed in here, and we are looking for volunteers. And after that, we have the Charter Day, which is on January 21. I'm working on that one already. And then we have coming up after that, the Redondo Beach History Day. And then after that, we have the city birthday. So we've kind of set out some pretty expansive hours because we wanted to mirror what the Morale House will be doing with their hours. So the more volunteers we can get, the better. And I would encourage those of you that have not actually gone through the volunteer process to go through that process. Okay. The other thing that I need to bring up is, so we don't have the strategic plan on the agenda today. I've gotten now input from all of you for the last 5 meetings or so. So I am ready to sit down and write a strategic plan working with our staff liaison. And I would like to agendize a written strategic plan for either our December or January meeting. Probably December would be a good starting point. We'll see if we can actually kick it out sufficiently in that. Can I get motion and a second to agendize a strategic plan?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, Commissioner Klinger moved, Commissioner Cullen second. All those in favor of agendizing a strategic plan, a written strategic plan, say aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay, I don't know if we need public comment on that, but it doesn't seem like we have any public comments on that. It's just putting it on the agenda. Okay. Then the last thing that, so it's going to be agendized. And the last thing on my referrals to staff and or member comments is, so there's a historical library that's taking now bids for RFPs for use on it. It's about 11,000 square foot building. Our museum is about under 1,000 square feet. And I'm just wondering if there's any interest from this commission in trying to meet the deadline of December 15th to put together what we think might be a nice historical component to whatever it's going to be done with that historical library.
What do you mean, swapping the museum for the Veterans Park building?
It's a historic building and it has a lot more square feet. We don't have that much place for our exhibits. And if there's interest, I think that's something that we can explore. We only have, what, about 3 or 4 weeks, I think, before, less than 3 weeks, probably. Yeah, let's do the 15th. I don't know. When they were proposing it to the council, they was talking about an art exhibit and maybe a pop-up history thing. But it is a lot more square footage and it would give us a bigger footprint and probably give us more traffic. And then, of course, what do you do with the historical Victorian house? That would be something that we'd also be discussing. So I'm just trying to get an idea if there's any appetite to gear up to write something that says we are interested in moving our museum.
Would we be able to like take a look at the building over the weekend, or I don't know, like about the staff hours? So that's why I'm asking.
I don't have access to it. We'd have to get,
So like one would,
no, I'd say over the weekend, there's not a possibility.
of course, so when would we be able to like go inside? Because before kind of making the decision and jumping on it, I want to take a look at what it looks like from the inside.
I'd have to ask.
Okay, so that's my staff item then.
Okay, I just want to get an idea if there's an appetite for it. And it sounds like at least with Commissioner Klinger, maybe that's something, but our next meeting happens to be after the deadline for the RFP. So the sooner you get in and decide, and you might end up being the one writing it, so. But you'll see, I mean.
One other thing is like the extreme majority, I think about 2/3 of our items are not on display because we're so limited on space. So that's definitely why it piques my interest. We could even have the museum and maybe part of the library. I doubt we'll need 11,000 square feet, but we could like have it in several places.
Yeah,
We definitely have enough historical artifacts and memorabilia for it.
And the nice thing about the library, it may actually give us better hours to actually have the museum open.
We can send them a note before the 15th. We want it. No, right? Short and sweet.
I think there's also an art aspect of it, so it may end up being partial, I could see it being part history, part art, part gift shop kind of thing.
Yeah, you could tell them it's the future home of the Cesar Hernandez art collection, right?
Possible, you can have a local artist section too.
Yeah, and if it gets going, we can have somebody dress up as George Reef at the start of the surfing season and invite people in.
There you go. So it sounds like you, Ms. Commissioner Klinger, you should connect with staff and see if that's something that's worthy of pursuing. Okay, so you had a
Can you
comment?
do that note, Gary? We want it, just send it to them.
Well, as I understand it, the operator would end up reaching out to try to figure out how to do it. So I don't think we have the bonding to do it or we can't operate a gift shop kind of thing. So it's going to be a more or less encompassing thing as to how we fit into the big picture.
We do have kind of a mini gift shop at the History Museum, like where we sell books and postcards.
When was the last time you saw a sale there?
I'm just saying we have the authority to do it.
Yes, we do, and we do sell them, but we haven't done that yet.
I think I bought it last time I was there.
Okay, so anyway, that's my member items. Did you want to say anything before we adjourned, or, I mean, you've been sitting here the whole time? If you do speak, you need to speak at the microphone so that we can hear you. You need to come forward, and I don't see the red light on the microphone, so nobody can,
Thank you.
there you go.
Yes, Mission Viejo, they have graphics. The last monk church was closed there to sell wine. 1978, I believe, I'm not sure, or 82. They have graphics. All these churches up here, the Catholic ones, was in 13th century. The Spaniards would capture the pirates, bring them here to the country. They would force labor them to build winery churches, and their monk-ran churches, Catholic, all up at the coast. They have all the graphics here of the last one closed, and all these churches, Catholic, at one time the cellars, they had wine, and they were able to support the church by selling the wine to the public and also have a little themselves. The Pope over there, and he can have wine. It's real wine. It's half a quarter, but it's a half of that, and he's allowed to have it. The history is that the last church closed, like I said. So all these churches here, they're ran by monks at the time, and so St. James and a graphic. And in the background, what I saw in the bay over here and all down to the Palos Verdes were shooting piers. And what I saw was Spanish ships. 1842, the same graphic church right there is in that graphic, 1842. And there were Spanish ships out there in this bay. And there were piers shooting out there. So they bring the cargo from afar to this country. So that proves what the professor told me, is that back in the 11th century, Viking ships right here. There's history in this bay. And if that's true, and what he said he is true, there have maybe even been Christopher Columbus coming in this port here. They don't know really, but the Navy down Corridor Island, they have every graphic that you could think of. And so I will, anybody could go there, the History Society there, to go there and get it. I have pool, I can get it too. So I don't have it right now, but I will have it later. But what the professor said, that what happened is that if they went to England, the pirates, they would get, King George at the time was off with the head. But if they go to Spain, they get beat and they come here and build the winery churches. So what I know is what my friend told me. He's a military captain. He told me that the monk churches over there in Mission Viejo, it was the last one that closed. I think it's 82, I'm not sure. But they have all the graphics. All the Catholic churches here were built by pirates in 13th century. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If that's true, who wrote maybe this here too?
Okay,
so
I do have another question for staff. If we find pirate treasure, do we share it with the city in the South Bay?
There's a lot of history there.
is that a question for me?
Yeah.
If you find a pirate's letter, should you share it?
No, if we find pirate treasure, do we share it with the city? Because the churches were built by pirates, and so sometimes they could have used the churches to bury treasure. So if we find the pirate treasure, do we share it with the city?
I think if you were doing it as an official commission field trip, you should, but if you're doing it on your own, you probably don't have to.
Well, there might be a problem with that because I don't think that California was transferred from Mexico to the US until the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was adopted, and I think that was in 1848. So there might be an issue as to who claims the true ownership of that.
And there are caves, by the way, down by Palos Verdes that supposedly were used for storing stuff. So, okay, so let's go to the next item on the agenda, which is adjournment. The next meeting of the Redondo Beach Historical Commission will be a regular meeting held at 7 p.m. on December 21, 2022, in the Redondo Beach Council Chambers at 415 Diamond Street, Redondo Beach. It is the intention of the city of Redondo Beach to comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act in all respects. If as an attendee or as a participant at this meeting, you need special assistance beyond what is normally provided the city will attempt to accommodate you in every reasonable manner. Please contact the city clerk's office at 318-0656 at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Inform us of your particular needs and to determine if an accommodation is feasible. Please advise us at the time if you will need accommodations to attend or participate in the meetings on a regular basis. An agenda packet is available 24 hours a day at www.redondo.org under the City Clerk tab. Okay, so is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Commissioner Cullen moved. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll go with Commissioner Warstadt this time, because I don't think she's done one yet today. How about a roll call vote on that?
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner, I don't have to call the ones who are absent, do I?
No, they've been absent all meeting.
Okay. Commissioner Klinger?
I.
Chairperson Morocco?
Yes.
Commissioner Warstadt?
Yes.
And Commissioner Zaremski?
Yes.
Okay, so we are adjourned at about 7:45. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for attending, sir.
Thank you.
And